the mystery of the dog's suicide bridge. In Dumbarton, Scotland, there's an ornate 19th-century bridge called the Overtoun Bridge. But its claim to fame is somewhat sinister. It's nicknamed the dog's suicide bridge. For decades, dating at least back to the 1950s, dogs have been jumping from the Gothic-style bridge that crosses a 50-foot, 15-meter, ravine. Many news outlets have reported on the bridge, and it's inspired at least one full-length book. Some reports set the number of flying furballs in the hundreds, while others cite fewer. Numbers aside, there's no disputing that a lot of dogs have died at this bridge, and no one knows exactly why. Sometimes dogs survive the fall but suffer terrible injuries. Others perish soon after their plunges. In at least one instance, a dog allegedly jumped from the bridge, survived, ran up the slope, and then jumped off once again. But what's inspiring this rush of jumps? The dogs all jump from the same spot, between the two ramparts on the right-hand side of the bridge, at the very end. And it has to be a clear day. The most common theory is that smell is luring the dogs to their demise. Squirrel, mice, and, most pungently, mink are known to nest below the bridge, the scent of which is attractive to dogs. A scientific test has been undertaken, where 10 long-nosed pups were given a variety of scents to follow. 70% of the dogs made for the mink. This theory ticks a variety of boxes. Mink were introduced to the area in the 1950s when the jumps began, and the smell of mink would be strongest on clear or dry days. But why Overtoun Bridge and not any of the many bridges around Scotland with mink living beneath them? And why do the dogs always jump in the same place? In 2010, animal behaviorist David Sands visited the bridge and concluded that dogs certainly weren't killing themselves on purpose. He figured that since most of the dogs that jump are long-nosed types like German Shepherds and Scottish Terriers with especially keen odor-tracking skills, the wild animal scent may be a trigger. In his documentary about the bridge mystery, Sands says, "I think it's highly likely in all the cases here at Overtoun Bridge that it was curiosity that killed the dog. Still, this part of the country is full of superstitious folks. Some of them believe that there are paranormal factors at work, driving the dogs to jump to their deaths." One theory is that a grieving widow, the White Lady of Overtoun, maintains a ghostly presence at the bridge, stirring the dogs into a death frenzy. Another, even darker take, harkens to a terrible event that occurred in 1994. It was that year that a 32-year-old father threw his baby, whom he was certain was the Antichrist, into the gorge below. The baby died the following day, and the father was declared insane and committed to an institution. Locals say that dogs, in almost every case, tend to jump from the same spot that the baby was thrown from. Perhaps, they say, the terrible ordeal left a supernatural rift of sorts that affects dog behavior. Yet, whatever is going on in the bridge, it's not humans who are at risk so much as dogs, which has brought the area notoriety in weird news circles around the globe. Since the 1950s, around 50 dogs have died after leaping off the 50-foot-tall bridge. During the same period, some 600 dogs have made the same jump and survived. Whatever the case, scientists don't seem to believe that dogs are intentionally offing themselves because their Prozac prescriptions ran out. Suicide is more of a creation of the human condition. Until the mystery is solved, perhaps local dog walkers should consider mandatory leash laws for anyone who approaches the bridge.